person who knows God like no other is our next guest. Sitting here on the couch, we'd like to give a warm welcome to Tyrus, Hinton.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here with you.
I am excited. Now, were you thinking about what your grandma used to say like I was?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you know the things she said or how she tried to guide you with God. So to have that right before you even speak, it just added even more peace, more serenity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm feeling just so happy right now. And it's not just because of what my grandma used to say, but it's because of who you are. I think that you're a phenomenal man.
Wow.
And the reason is because of baby steps. I'm diagnosed now what? This book, this series, your foundation, who you are and whose you are, is going to shock the world right now, because it takes a strong person to go through everything that you've went through.
Yes.
And I want you to tell the world just about that background, because I want to know, why did we write this? Why?
Why did we write this? It's a question that many will ask, and many have asked, and it's out of a personal experience. And I believe that we're living in a time now when authenticity is so required. I grew up in a very conservative Christian, apostolic preaching, towel sweating church, and you know, the only testimony we knew was the Lord delivered me from something. That's the only testimony we ever heard growing up. I have folks that are watching from the church. I love y'all, but
That's the truth.
This is the truth. The Lord delivered me. He delivered me, and we never knew, we never understood what the Lord delivered them from. And when a time like now, when people have access to more information, probably dating myself here a little bit, but we didn't have Google. We had encyclopedias.
No, I did.
You know, it kind of a little different now, and people really want to know what's happening. So when you talk about diagnose now, what? Baby steps. You think of baby steps. What do you mean diagnose? Cancer is not gender specific. Cancer crosses generational barriers. Cancer is just something that has no age, it has no color, it has no area where it's hitting specifically, and it's something that needs to be talked about. So when we're talking about baby steps, we need to figure out, how do we get through these things? So on the book that you just held up, the cover of that book, that's my son's foot. My son's foot.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Because you said has no age. I was like, okay, has no age. Can we talk about that? Because tragedy hit your family about, what was it, how many years ago?
20 years ago. So let's put it into real perspective. I was 23 and my wife was 22. And he was our third child. She loved me so much, she just couldn't keep her hands off of me. So every 11 months, she just ended up pregnant. That's just kind of how that happened. But so our 3 children, 11 months apart, and he was the baby of the 3 at that time. Perfectly healthy child, the largest child that my wife had. He was the biggest baby. So we're thinking, hey, thank God, we can stop. We're done.
Yes.
Only to find out at 16 months, he's diagnosed with cancer. And when he was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, which is a very aggressive form of cancer, as a child, we had to figure out, how do we deal with this? We're 22, we're 23. This is not something that's in our family. This is not something that we're familiar with. This is the first time we're ever even hearing of leukemia.
So new to you.
All new to us. We're married, married 4 years in, so we're still kind of new, learning each other. She put her college plan on hold. At that time, I was in Bible school, so I had to stop going to Bible school because now we had a sick child, and we had to take care of this sick child. And based on that experience and based on the memory of that, it took us some time to heal. And that healing is an ongoing process. So it took us some time to heal. And 2 years ago, I just wrote a book. I said, you know what? There are families that are sitting in hospital rooms right now, and they really don't have answers for what they are dealing with. They don't have answers. You have Google. If you Google anything, you're dying. I mean, pretty much these days.
Hey, that's the truth. truth. That's the truth.
You Google it, it's like, it's the end.
You're like, oh, I have this little cut. It's going to open up. The bacteria's going to get it. You're dead.
There you go. So,
I understand completely.
So in understanding that, what makes my wife and I kind of the expert of the situation is that we've gone through this. We went through this 20 years ago. We know what it is to receive a diagnosis. We know what it is to receive information from the doctor that says, well, we're hoping it's not the most aggressive form of leukemia, and we're going to work hard to make sure that we can save your child. Only to discover that he does have the most aggressive form. All of the clinical trials were not applicable to him. We did not have the resources to get him to the best of care that was necessary. You know how many people I'm speaking to right now that are in that situation right now that don't have access to all of these resources? But if I can put a book in their hand that you can actually fit in your pocket, that you can take back and forth with you to the hospital. No one knows that you have it. It's a place where you can write notes, you can take notes, and you can get through these days of diagnosis. Why wouldn't we do that to help someone else? Why wouldn't we do it?
You know what? One thing, I'm totally listening to you, tuned in, but you said you had to stop Bible college.
I stopped.
And everything went on hold.
Everything.
You had to pause.
Yes.
And you were having to take baby steps, actually.
Yes.
You know?
Hence
because
the title.
it was new to you.
Yes.
You were new to it, but you were trying to be true to it. In this book, though, I want to know, which other people will probably want to know, here it is, now you are a pastor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you wrote this book 2 years ago, and with where's Jesus?
Right. So, pastor, how about a senior pastor for 10 years?
Oh.
Then a campus pastor at one of the fastest growing churches in Raleigh, or as we're noted in America at this point, and been a campus pastor there for 4 years. And I realized that the people that I shared rooms with were not religious people. The people that became our family were not religious people. Those were people who were just diagnosed like we were. So I feel like I need to reach back out to those people that have been diagnosed. This resource needs to be made available to everyone. I don't want to exclude anyone.
Okay.
While I walk in faith, the average individual that's being diagnosed right now is not necessarily walking in faith.
Okay.
However, you read a story of baby steps and diagnosis. Let me figure out who Tyrus Hinton is. Oh my God, this guy's a pastor. Let me talk to him a little bit. And we have talked for the last 18 years. Without interruption, we have talked to families and led them on a faith journey to Christ, never mentioning Christ in the book.
So, never mentioning Christ, did you feel like your words would breed your light? Absolutely.
Absolutely. If we take a walk through the Baby Steps book, which I know time won't allow us to go through it, but if we start taking small walks through it, beginning with something as simple as just breathe, then talking about erasing the routine, then talking about finding a song. Well, our psalmist just talked about her grandmother. Well, you think how many of us have a faith foundation that we might have walked away from? So in a time of crisis like that, you think, I just got cancer. Well, if you're from one of our traditional churches, you're going to automatically lean to what a friend we have in Jesus.
Come on.
All our sins and griefs to pay.
Yes.
You know, we're going to go right back to that. Lord, have your way. Or you can come as modern as today as William Murphy. You're talking about, you are my strength. Strength like no other. You're going to find a song. These are the things I kind of talk about to stir up something inside of that person to say, now that's our job as pastors and leaders and Christian influencers. We're supposed to stir up the gift of God that is within someone.
Come on.
What better way to do it than to start talking about, hey, we can stir up your gift. Just take a baby step. I'm not asking you to go all the way in with the faith, but take a little bit of faith. If you breathe in and out, breathing in and out at some point is going to make you say thank you because I'm breathing.
And see, I like it because it's as if what I'm always telling people, I like to come through the back door. And people are like, what? That doesn't make any sense. You need to let people know that you're the minister. And I'm like, no, that's not how God created me. That's not what he wanted. He likes me to on the back door. So when you tap on the back door and you just slide in, and they know and they can see your light.
Yes.
That's why I asked you about, did you feel like your words, it was the breath that they needed. So I like just breathe. Explain.
So breathing, of course, there are therapeutic exercises with breathing.
Okay.
So when Terrell was diagnosed that day, I remember it as if it was yesterday. We went from the doctor's office to the emergency room. They prepared for us every step of the way. Then by the time we actually reached the Children's Cancer Hospital where he was diagnosed, the team of doctors, 5 of them, white jackets, came in and they said, hey, how are you guys doing? It's like, oh, we're fine. Well, you know, we're sorry to inform you that this is what's going on. You talk about something that takes your breath away. That your baby is in your arms attached to IVs because they've already started, you know, doing what they need to do. And you're trying to figure out, how am I going to deal with this? And that's why I start off with just breathe. Just kind of inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Because if you try to answer any question at that moment, you can't.
Because you can't talk, you can't hear, you can't do anything. But let's talk about this. 2 years ago, wrote this book. What happened to you, kind sir?
So here we go. So June 8th, Terrell's birthday, his 18th birthday, I released a book, right? His 20th birthday, I released a book. August 5th, I am diagnosed with intestinal cancer myself. So the same book that I just released, we had this big party, we had a great, amazing turnout, and here it is. I have to go to my resource cabinet and grab my book and start reading it all over again. I have to read Just Breathe. I have to read Write It All Down. I have to start reading Find a Song. I have to start reading all over again, Erase the Routine, because at this point, my other 2 children are grown, they're adults, and then we have our 16-year-old who we have him, and we have to figure out, what are we going to do? I'm a property manager, I'm a business owner, I'm a pastor at that point, I'm also a husband, most importantly, a father, and I have to digest all of this and deal with the terminal illness as well. And I picked up my book, and when I tell you, I hit Find a Song, and I didn't have to go any further.
You were good.
I started singing. We were on our way. I remember them wheeling me back to anesthesia to do the actual surgery to remove the cancer from my small intestine. And the guy said, all right, did you just want to say goodbye? And I started saying goodbye to my family, whatever. And the nurse said, how you feeling? I said, girl, it's a win-win for me.
Come on.
And she said, what do you mean? I said, to live is Christ, to die is the gain. And I started talking about God is great. And my wife, she kept saying, all I kept hearing you sing was God is great and greatly to be praised. God is great. And that's all I sang. I sang that all the way in. They tell me when I woke up from the surgery, which should have taken 2 hours, it took almost 4 hours to remove the cancer from my small intestine. They moved a part of my stomach as well. I woke up telling God, thank you.
Okay.
So there is something to this.
Yes, it is.
Helping people to understand diagnosis is not the end.
No, it's not.
It's actually an opportunity for God to work another miracle and for you to be the light to the world to let them know that he's a healing God.
So in us wrapping up in a minute, tell them where they can get this book and how your foundation is where they should be.
Sure. 1 minute. You can find the book at babystepstobook.com. You can go to PastorTyrus.com. You can go to HintonCaresOrganization.com.
Come on.
You can go to TyrusJHinton.com. You can Google me and you'll find the truth that Tyrus Hinton is the author of Baby Steps. One good thing that we should know is that every single dollar from every book sale, every merchandise sale is given back to parents and families that are currently in some kind of treatment program at hospitals. We support different universities. We do teaching universities and hospitals that are specifically for cancer treatment. We take gift bags. We take balloons. I will be at UNC Chapel Hill on Saturday. I'll be at Ronald McDonald House serving dinner on Saturday. Our family does this every month. We are somewhere helping families from babystepstobook.com.
This was not long enough. Like, I am in awe. I have to purchase so that I can also help. Thank you so much, Tyrus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Tyrus Hinton, everybody, phenomenal work that he is doing. And you